U.S. First Lady Melania Trump departs Andrews Air Force Base in Maryland June 21, 2018 wearing a jacket emblazoned with the words, "I really don't care, do you?" following her surprise visit with child migrants on the U.S.-Mexico border. AFP photo, Mandel and Ganmandel none. AFP, Getty Images, Washington. In the 1992 campaign, President George H.W. Bush created an unofficial and much-mocked motto for his administration during a town hall meeting in New Hampshire. Message, "I care," he announced, as if reading aloud the stage directions. Melania Trump did much the same last week when she went to Texas to see some of the migrant kids who were taken from their parents under her husband's policy. The now famous wording on her jacket made her a human billboard for what should be the unofficial motto of the Trump administration. Get editorials, opinion columns, letters to the editor and more in your inbox weekday mornings. Sign up for the opinion newsletter. I really don't care, do you? Ad choice advertising and red invented by Tease. The administration's cruelty is particularly prominent lately because of photos of the anguish of the migrant children, and Trump's accompanying allegation of phony stories of sadness, and his warning that immigrants, like insects, would infest the country. But the current episode, though highly visible, is hardly one of a kind. By now, the administration has amassed an extensive catalog of cruelty. On Thursday, Trump doomed the latest attempt to protect from deportation the Dreamers, those 700,000 people who have known no home but America since they were brought here as children. He tweeted that he didn't see the purpose of the House passing an immigration bill, and, sure enough, the House called off the vote. It was his own executive action that exposed the Dreamers to deportation in the first place. I really don't care, do you? On Wednesday night, Trump renewed his assault on Senator John McCain, RRS, as he dies from brain cancer. Trump again blamed McCain for the failed repeal of Obamacare. The administration earlier this month decided not to defend the law against a court challenge that, if successful, would end protections for Americans with pre-existing conditions. Trump has also ended subsidies to help insurance companies cover low-income people, and acknowledged the Obamacare repeal he championed was mean. He gave a green light to work requirements for Medicaid that could deny health insurance even to many poor Americans who work. I really don't care, do you? The Trump administration this month said that domestic violence and gang violence would no longer be grounds for seeking asylum in the United States. Trump previously reduced the number of refugees from 110,000 to 45,000 per year, the lowest in almost 40 years, and even fewer are actually being admitted, forcing tens of thousands to remain in refugee camps and return to face persecution or violence in the countries they fled. This is after Trump's travel ban on several Muslim-majority countries, which resulted in families separated and students and doctors denied entry. I really don't care, do you? Lawmakers complained this last week to Trump's Commerce Secretary, Wilbur Ross, that the administration's haphazard implementation of trade barriers is causing havoc for farmers, small businesses and manufacturers. Ross responded by calling such notions exaggerated and not our fault. A week earlier, as the Washington Post's Jeff Stein and Andrew Van Dam wrote, Trump's Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that wages after inflation have fallen over the past year for production and non-supervisory workers, 80% of all privately employed workers. That means economic gains are going almost exclusively to people already at the top of the economic ladder. And the tax cuts further widen the gap between the rich and everybody else. I really don't care, do you? Trump's budget proposal this year, sensibly ignored by Congress, would have cut Medicaid by $306 billion over 10 years, food stamps by $214 billion, nutritional help for mothers and children, and heating assistance for the poor, according to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. The Trump administration is also reducing enforcement of fair housing laws. And Trump said Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico was not a real catastrophe, and said Puerto Ricans want everything to be done for them. It now appears thousands died. I really don't care, do you? Trump said there were very fine people among the neo-Nazis marching in Charlottesville last summer. He declared a ban on transgender people in the military and later imposed a partial ban. His administration ordered prosecutors to seek maximum penalties for even nonviolent drug crimes. I really don't care, do you? Now come reports that Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen and White House Senior Policy Advisor Stephen Miller, architects and leading defenders of Trump's child separation policy, were heckled in separate incidents in recent days while dining at Mexican restaurants. Another report this last week highlighted the discovery that Miller's great-grandfather had his naturalization petition denied because of ignorance. I don't like incivility, or cheap shots. But you know what else? I really don't care, do you? AD Quality Auto 360p 720p 1080p. You might also have a place in Singapore? Earn money by hosting. Booking.com. This 29-year-old made $10 million in watches in 3 years. The folio win up to $500 rebate with every $5 Visa spend. HSBC Bank. Farewell. Big corded vacuum cleaners. Dyson. On today. Online magic air cooler takes Singapore by storm. The idea is HandyTechGadgets.com. Accounting discontent lurks in Vietnam despite economic success. MercuryNews.com. California toddler dies after being left in car for. MercuryNews.com. Prince Harry could be in trouble over saying give. MercuryNews.com. Recommended by